Well, I am so delighted to have you meet Graham Smith, who has come out as a summer intern all the way from Pennsylvania because he took interest in prison ministry to spend 10 weeks with me. And I wanted to get this message to you fairly quickly because I wanted you to hear his first impressions, if you will. And when I seek to describe Metanoia Prison Ministries, San Joaquin Valley, to interested folks, I kind of often use the phrase crossing the threshold. There's just something about getting actually face-to-face with the believers that are there and the co-laborers that are there. And so I'm glad to actually bring someone to you who's just had his first sort of experience with that. Let me ask first, though, Graham, could you describe what you imagined it might be like before you ever came?
I was kind of, my view of the prisons as a whole is just pandemonium and everything's crazy and you got to watch what do you see in the movies and
right.
and that. And that was probably my expectation, yet completely open-handed with whatever the Lord had. So
Okay.
yeah, there was a sense of, I don't know, we'll find out.
Yeah, but I've also noticed about you that you would be sort of ready to adapt, to go for what you find. For both of us, I don't think we could have imagined what that first week would be like.
No.
And it was a real gift from God to us. I didn't know if Graham's clearance would work out. I didn't know what attendance would be like during that first week. And in fact, in the end, that week presented more opportunities for meeting faces. More individuals were encountered. It was 156.
Wow.
156. Now I remember the number. Excuse me. It was 156 men that we encountered. So it was just a gift from the Lord for that thing. But what I wanted to ask you is, when you crossed the threshold, could you describe something of your real experience of interacting face to face?
Yes, I was a little bit nervous. I had kind of determined I'm either going to love prison ministry or hate it, and I'm going to find out right away. Yeah. And honestly, that first study that we did, those men just embraced me. I mean, I felt as if I had known them my whole life. Like I grew up with them. I mean, they're my brothers in Christ. They literally are our family, our spiritual family. And those men welcomed me in such a wonderful way. And there were men of all different backgrounds and just had accepted me, and we're so thankful to have that level of fellowship. It was very encouraging.
I have found you to be, and we've just been together a few weeks, but I have found you to be good at faith conversation, if you will, and you really actively, on purpose, engage people to find out, so what's the Lord doing in your life? Yeah. So, and that's been very real in every place. We were at, nine places, and we go every week to 9 different places. But could you describe how some of the men have spoken to you about the grace of God in their lives? I've
just been awestruck. I mean, to the point of tears that as I hear these men share their testimonies, some men were believers who didn't watch their sin, and their sin got them and brought them to prison. Some men were hardcore against Christ, and the Lord called them and converted them in prison. And to hear salvation itself is the most miraculous thing we'll ever see. Yeah. And whether that comes at 3 years old or as a 43-year-old gang member on a life sentence, it's amazing. And to hear those men share, some of the testimonies are jaw-dropping, and some of them are not quite so jaw-dropping, but the result of salvation in Christ is equally amazing.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Just yesterday evening, we had an experience of one of the fellows who came. We'd never met him before. But he just looked me straight in the eye and he said, "I do not believe in God."
But he came and he heard the gospel.
But he came and he heard the gospel.
Amen.
And we can engage. It's just such a place of opportunities. You've mentioned already different levels of Christian maturity. And that's, we here I am telling the story already, but I mean, we have some guys that could sit and read the Greek New Testament without interlinear, and we have other guys, I only have one of those, but we have other guys that, where's the Gospel of John, kind of thing all the time. But your reaction to that as for what prison ministry is sort of like face-to-face like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's very humbling to see men. You know, I'm a third-year seminary student now, and it's humbling to see men who know the scriptures better than I do. So that's a good thing that I have to thank the Lord
Yeah.
for keeping me humble in that way.
Yeah.
And I'm so encouraged to see men who don't know where the Gospel of John is, yet seeing some of the older men, some of the more
Yeah.
mature believers,
Yeah.
bringing them along, and to see them go and look this up and flip and follow along
Yeah.
and lock into what you're saying,
Yeah.
that just lights my heart on fire.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful
Yeah.
to see.
And I would mention that most of the discipleship occurs man to man. I come to serve that, but most of the discipleship occurs man to man. So does prison ministry strike you in this first encounter as a place of opportunity?
Absolutely. It is 100% a mission field to pour into those men who voluntarily come, and they can then pour into others. There's an absolute mission field here. And my encouragement, I mean, I'm so glad that I came out and got a taste of this. And my encouragement to every believer is in some way serve this, because at least try this. There's a mission field there, and the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few.
And one thing I'll mention too, as he says that, that most of the men we deal with, and we deal with a lot, but most of them don't have an immediate current connection with a local church. Most of them, even the really mature ones, don't have an immediate connection with a local church. And I think the local churches the visible church can serve them with extended relationship, a correspondence or whatever, that they could know that you think about them, and you will be there, next week, next month, next year. So thanks.
If I could, I make one last point?
Yeah, absolutely.
In regards to that, every time we end a Bible study, those men basically get in a line and shake hands, and they say, "Thank you for giving a couple of hours to come in here and serve us."
All the time.
And I think, boy, you guys are encouraging me. I should be thanking you. Just that level of someone who cares for them as a brother in Christ speaks more than words ever